Hey Mike, so how did you come about the title of the book?
Well, it was a process. I had a number of titles that were in my mind. The first one was The May Avenue Stories, but that doesn't seem very creative. The book is made up of 25 chapters, 25 stories. And they're all real, and they all range from being sad to tragic. But my favorite story is The Kite That Couldn't Fly. And let me tell you where that comes from. So when you're one of 14 living in poverty, it's sad, but you don't even get the things you need, let alone the things that you want. So we learned as children to not want, because we wanted to avoid the disappointment because we knew we wouldn't get it. But I had a unrealistic passion or desire or want, and I wanted a trophy. Don't know why, but I wanted a trophy. And I would nag my mom, and I would, for a year I did that. And finally one day she said, "Michael, do you want a trophy?" I said, "Yes, I told you I wanted a trophy." She says, the Grand Kite Contest is next week. Let's build a kite that'll win a trophy. Awesome. So she sent me to the butcher shop to get some butcher paper. She taped it together and she drew on that piece of paper. We did it in the evenings when all the other munchkins were asleep. And I got time alone with Mom, which was priceless. And she would tell me as she was creating this beautiful kite, it was the dream of Jacob's Ladder. That's a famous painting in the 1800s that are in most big Bibles. It's beautiful. And he had a dream about how to get to heaven. And he believed for the first time he could get to heaven. So she used gold crayon, silver, blues, and she's an artist. So she did an amazing job. And while we were building that each night for about 7 nights, she would tell me the story, the Bible story of Jacob, the whole story. And she was teaching at the same time as creating my kite. So I remember asking her through those evenings, I'd ask the same question multiple times each night. "Hey Mom, where are we going to put that trophy?" And she had answered it the same way each time. "We're going to put it right on top of the television so that all the people, all the neighbors can see it through the window." So what was she saying to me? I'm going to win the trophy. She didn't say if we win, she said when we win. I believed. And through those evenings, I would dream. And, every kid, maybe every boy, dreams of flying. We all want to fly. We think we can, we even try by jumping off, a deck with an umbrella. It doesn't work. But I had this vision of me flying on this kite, high in the air, holding my trophy. I had already believed. So, came time for the kite contest, and I carried my giant kite, probably 5 feet high, 3 feet wide. It was made out of 2x4s, so spoiler alert, it's not going to fly. The kite's not going to fly, but I believed it would. So I got down there and tried, a little chubby boy running, and the kite would just fly. My uncle was at the contest, Uncle Dan. Uncle Dan could fix anything. Cars, furnaces, radios. He was a genius at fixing stuff. So I brought it over to him. He held it, he looked at it, and he said, "Hey," he called me Mikey Joe. "Some kites are made to fly, some kites are made to look at. This is a kite made for beauty. It's not going to fly." So my opinion of Uncle Dan fixing things went down a couple steps. So it didn't fly. I wasn't going to win the trophy. So I set it up on the judges' stand, and it drew a crowd. It was beautiful. What is it? So I got to tell the story of Jacob's Ladder. I think I brought a couple people to Christ that evening or that afternoon, telling the story of this little boy with such passion, telling a Bible story that I learned from my mother. Came time for the awards. The highest kite won a 2-foot trophy. I just lusted over that trophy. The most aerobatic won a 3-foot trophy. The smallest kite, it was this big, won a 4-foot trophy. And then they announced the Grand Kite first prize, winner takes all, Mike Menard. I won. It was a special category they made for beauty and creativity. I almost lost consciousness. It was like, it's a dream. I walked up and took my 4-foot trophy And when I turned around, my mother was in the audience, and she had that, "You of little faith, I told you." How did she know I was going to win that kite?
What did you learn from that? What was your reflection from all of that?
So, I tell the story in the book as a child, but now as an adult, I have heavy reflection. There's a couple of things. One, it teaches about the paradox in life of, can a kite that can't fly win? Yeah. Can a child that was raised in poverty and in childhood trauma, can they become a healthy, successful person? Yes. So I learned that, but also I learned the power of a mother's love, the dedication it took. She was exhausted. After all of her chores, taking care of 14 children, she would sit and create a kite for her son because he wanted a trophy. And she taught us about Jesus. She taught me about Jesus through that effort. She never lost an opportunity. She gave me full confidence that I was going to win. And I did. So, all parents can learn from that of, knowing that the person that loves you the most believes in you as well, and anything can happen. I learned through all of these stories, even through the lessons my dad taught but taught the wrong way. I learned courage, I learned confidence, I learned grit, I learned how to stop a bully in their tracks, and I learned to fear no human because of that experience. And if I could survive that house, everything else in life to me is kind of a cakewalk.
Right. And because of that, that's what motivated you to write the book.
Yes, I collected these stories starting 40 years ago. We were at my parents' anniversary, and each child gave their favorite story. And I remember saying, you cannot make stuff up this rich. And I wrote all 14 stories down, and from that point forward, I did two things. I began telling the stories of May Avenue for entertainment, but I also collected more stories, and I collected 50, and I decided to publish 25. Some of them can't be told. They're just too dark. They're just too hurtful. A couple of those actually made it in the book by my siblings demanding that their story be told. They wanted the tragedy to be told and to be open, and they see it as part of their healing process. So it came to the point where these stories had to be told. And so I started to write this memoir to tell the stories, but it evolved to being something that can generate awareness to childhood trauma and do good, not just entertain.